Hey, it's Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY, and adventures. Today I'm going to be doing some car cleaning, and I've always been intrigued by detailers that use filtered water and filter systems for really high-end luxury vehicles. But why can't I do that with any vehicle and get that spot-free rinse? This is the ISpring filter system. It's the WGB22BD series with a cart that's going to provide me just that, filtered water when I wash any vehicle that I have. So stay tuned, I'm going to unbox it, we're going to hook it up, and we're going to give it a shot and see, is this thing worth it? Does it actually help? Does it give me that spot-free rinse, especially on the glass? I've never used one of these, but I'm going to give it a try. This is a pretty beefy system. I first pulled the filter little wrench out of the box and I was like, man, this thing's huge. And the next thing you know, I'm pulling these canisters out that hold the filters. This is and these things have some weight to them. This is one heck of a big filter. Deionization resin filter is what you're getting in here. So these are not your little tiny filters that you use in your fridge or anything like that. These have some oomph to them. They give you some Teflon tape. They give you an adapter for a hose, it looks like. 4 screws with some cotter pins. I imagine these are for hooking the wheels on. You get some little washers for the hoses. You get this end here, which I assume is for the push cart, the wheels, this adapter that we're going to have to hook up, and then the actual gizmo that the filters go to. It looks like they have decent PVC elbows. It looks like they're using kind of like the quick connects on it, a really nice brass regulator to cut the water on and off. So this has some weight too. So this is this seems like a heavy-duty system, much like you might see at a detailer. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I hope I have enough pressure for these filters. I'm not on city water, I am on a well. And I know sometimes when you use these filters, you gotta have really good pressure coming out. So we'll have to figure out how that goes. And then of course, we need to figure out how much these replacement filters are, because that's gonna be an ongoing cost that you'll have. But surely they'll last me a whole season, I would expect. And then if you store this in the garage, got to make sure you bring these filters in these cases. You don't want water sitting in here and it freeze if you're in a climate where the garage gets that cold. So looking at the instructions here, they do say the filters will last up to 12 months. Stage 1 and 2 deionization filters up to 12 months. It produces filtered water with 0 or near 0 TDS. The lifespan of the cartridges depends on the incoming water quality. You need to have 20 to 100 PSI. I definitely have that incoming. I have a gauge on my pressure tank inside. The water temperature 60 to 77. I can't really control that. I'm on a well. You need 2 gallons per minute. It's for residential use only. So this is the instructions on how to hook up the movable stand. I've checked all the items. I have everything, and then the stand you hook up with just these 2 screws, and then the cotter pins to hold the tires on. So it seems like the first step is you take this guy here and you put over, and that's going to become like the base, I believe, and then that's going to be the tires back there. And you're going to want to use 2 of these guys to go through. So they give you everything you're going to need basically to put this through. So you can take the screw. Well, I guess they don't give you the screwdriver and whatnot, but you can take this and feed through one side with your nut on the other, and you're going to tighten that guy up. And you're going to do the same for this side. It has one of those little locking washers on it, which is nice. Okay, so when you put these little wheels on, they come with cotter pins. So many times I see people take a cotter pin and bend it up and down. When you put it in, have the long side facing. So, you know, the long side facing up. And you're gonna basically take the long side and just bend it up over. You can use your finger, you can use whatever you want to just get it up and over to create a nice secure bend over what it's basically holding. Okay, so this is the cart. This is quite nice. It came with a sticker and it said, please attach it for future reference. And this is basically just giving you a QR code where you can watch videos and probably more information about the filters that it needs. So the filter, you can see like a screen at the bottom. This is not fabric. This is just like almost like a PVC pipe casing because the resin is inside of this chamber. But I do need to press or hook this side up because this is where the water is going to come in right here. So I want to screw this on nice and tight, and then my garden hose is going to go on this side. There's already a little washer in here, so I don't need that. They just gave me 2 extras, and they gave some plumber's tape, which I will use on this when I get ready to screw it in. So I got my plumber's tape on, and then this is going to go right here because this is the inlet. This is what your water is going to connect to and hook up to. And then there's a few really cool things about this. If you open the valve up like that, it's going to be filtering the water. If you keep it shut, you're bypassing it. So if you're just, say, you know, hosing your car off or something, you don't need to be doing that completely with filtered water. Like you de-eye it, or you're just rinsing the mud off, and then you're getting ready to actually do a really good hose and clean, you'll probably want to go to filtered. It will pass through this filter, come out, pass through this filter, and then eventually come out to your hose. Now, this is a pretty big investment. It's $482 on Amazon, and I just pulled up the replacement filters, and they are $80 to get the replacement filters. Now, I have the bypass valve. That increases the price a little bit more than the classic design, which doesn't have the bypass valve. I personally think the bypass valve is kind of a critical piece because there's going to be instances where you don't need DI water when you're like, you know, getting mud off of the vehicle before your second wash. Like the primary wash might just be hosing down a lot of the grime. Now, I did want to go on Amazon here and just see, like, what are people saying about this on Amazon? This guy says, finally, a spot water for a soft water for a spot-free car wash. He loves it. 4.5 stars. 5 stars. They say it's a must-have for any car enthusiast. And this company's based in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm excited to give this a test. So the first thing I'm going to do, hook up a hose to the end, and we're just going to blast some unfiltered water through. Okay, the first plug-in, 0 leaks. No leaks at the top of the filters, no leaks around any of the fittings, no leaks here. The only leak I have is my cheap nozzle on my hose, which they did not provide. But this is perfect. I did absolutely nothing to this, and it just worked absolutely perfect out of the box. Okay, so I am filtering the water right now. And I mean, that's phenomenal pressure. I would almost argue the pressure seems better with this than when I was using it without it, which is kind of interesting. And then I'm going to go to bypass mode. So now I'm bypassing the filters. And that's it. I mean, you're going to be able to operate the same that you always operated without having to have some ridiculous setup. You keep this in your garage, you roll it out, use the quick connects if you can, and then you can just get that filtered water with no issues at all. I'm on a well and I'm getting great pressure. Okay, so I went ahead and did one rinse of the vehicle with soap. I'm now on filter mode. I'm gonna rinse it again with soap using 100% filtered water from the ISpring filter car wash system. It should be near 0 TDS. And then I'm literally gonna take this and put it in the garage with no drying because I really wanna see just how spot-free it will be. I'm also gonna wash another vehicle and I'll keep it outside in direct sunlight so I can kind of compare and contrast the two. So next, wash the side with soap water, spray it off with the ISpring system. Okay, so the entire car has been cleaned with the ISpring filters car wash water system. I did my final rinse. I'm gonna actually put it in the garage just like this. So that gives you an idea of, I mean, it's actually already drying in some areas without it looking like it's spotting. So it's getting a bit of sun. So that's a good sign. Now I can't tell you how difficult it is for me not to want to dry this vehicle, but I'm trying to do a pretty extreme test here. I literally just turned it around and bringing it directly into the garage. I haven't hit the wipers, I'm not doing any of that. And I'll come back out here in a couple hours or whatnot and see just how spot-free it is. Okay, so far, 0 issues with the machine. Absolutely no leaks. Everything's working exactly how you'd expect it to be. I have it on filter mode. I'm gonna get ready to clean this 2022 Tesla, which is awfully grimy, courtesy of tree sap, if you can see all that nastiness. And we're just gonna do the same wash process, soap it, rinse it, soap it, and that second soap and rinse will be with the ISpring filter system to get it nice and clean. Okay, this is the moment that matters. Everything up to this point was just installing, configuring, and using the ISpring car wash filter system. But how good did it actually do on the Tesla and Land Rover? Remember, I did absolutely no drying. I just parked them and let it sit. Let's go. So I'm incredibly surprised that there is no visible, a few, like one, so I just smudged it now. So maybe I shouldn't have did that. But there's a few miniature spots. I saw maybe 2 on the whole windshield, nothing on the side glass. And I did a poor job rinsing this mirror. You can see, because they tuck in when you park, so I didn't really hose it off. So you can see more water spots in there. The sides and the paint, perfect. No water spots there. So I'm actually pretty shocked because if I did this before, you would see visible water spots in the paint, but more so, you would see water spots within the glass. And this is a really good test up here. You can see some of the residual sap from where it sat under the tree. And that's just a quick wash job. But the Tesla turned out pretty dang good. I know for a fact if I just used my standard hose, it would have no doubt had more spots. Now this Land Rover is interesting because I parked it inside. It wasn't getting all the sun. And you can see there's areas that have not dried completely, like the roof, but the back glass, 0 water spots, nothing. This plastic trim area here, no water spots, nothing. The side glass, nice and clean. I do not see any water spots, and I'm looking. It looks like there's some dirt here I didn't clean, so shame on me. Again, you can see when I have these mirrors tucked in, they seem to have water spots because I don't think I actually really cleaned them that much. They were pretty much tucked in when I was parked. The hood, let's look at the windshield here. I don't see anything on the windshield. So the Land Rover looks pretty dang amazing. This is always a good test too. Like the plastic, you can see marks from car washes and stuff, but that's a good test. I don't see any. The plastic fin back here, I don't see any water spots either. Let's go up and look at the side here, and we'll check the hood out also. I don't see anything here. This is another good test. That's a scuff. This plastic here is a good test. I don't see anything here. A little bit of water down here, minimal. Some water spots, but on the actual windshield, nothing. And the hood seems perfect. I don't see any issues on the hood. So I would say this system absolutely lived up to what it said. And I'm a firm believer just in this, that using DI water absolutely prevented what I typically would have had. I would always squeegee before everything. If you've watched this YouTube channel, you've seen me use my squeegee, constantly to try to make sure I don't get water spots. Just imagine if you use this filtered water and you do a little bit of drying or squeegeeing, it would be absolutely perfect. Remember, I did nothing. Soaked it, rinsed it, parked it. No drying at all. So if you're truly detailing a vehicle, you might use a dry cloth on it or a squeegee or something to make sure it's perfect. So the added enhancement of this water is just going to make your life easier. So that's what I think of this system. Would I recommend it? If you have a lot of cars or a car collection and you can justify the cost, I absolutely would recommend it. It's $400 and some bucks. The filters are $80. You got to make sure you're going to use it to actually get your time savings back, your money back. And if you go to a lot of car shows or, AACA events where they're judging, this is a no-brainer. And if you have old classics with chrome, absolutely. I don't have any vehicles with chrome besides my G20 van. Maybe I'll wash the G20 van with this. So if you're serious about cleaning your car and serious about your car collection and you're not on perfect water, I think this is a good buy. Let me know what you think.